Hi there, this is the Ethereum video for today, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm Rocky Outcrop. We're all Rocky Outcropticians together on the channel, and let's just dive on into the charts and see what's been going on. Okay, here we are back in the chart, 24-hour chart up here behind me, Ethereum versus US dollar perpetual futures contract from BitMEX. Now, I've been charting here on BitMEX for a wee while because I like to use the BitMEX for the Ethereum because it's got just a good amount of volume and all the rest of it, but it's more or less the same as the other charts, to be honest with you there. Oops, excuse me. So what have we been looking at? Well, actually, to be quite honest with you, it's a very similar story to the Bitcoin story currently. We managed to get just up above the 236 of this Fibonacci retracement from the highs in February down to the lows there sort of yesterday. And what we're looking at is that we just managed to get above there, and of course the prices are down below that currently. So we're still looking at similar story to yesterday, still looking to try and get those closes, opens and closes on decent sized timeframes, at least 4 hours and above 134, for instance. You know, if we get up to 136 dollars, that would be pretty decent. And of course, then if not, you know, failing that to the downside, we're looking at targets like $100 flat, more or less, and then $85 then thereafter. Of course, we also have another one around about 79. Those are the sort of the targets that we have, generally speaking. What's the market shaping up like? Well, we came all the way down here, as you can see, to sort of test the oversold zone on the RSI, but somehow, crazily enough, as it happens, if you take a look at it and zoomed in, we didn't actually make it down even as far as the oversold zone, which is kind of crazy. And then we come back up a bit. We need to see these things really sort of change. There's no divergence really looking at it. There's no, you know, there's nothing really jumping out here overall. Just need to see how this pans out over a longer period of time. Currently, we're still looking towards the downside, essentially, is what we're looking at. Likewise, the DMI is starting to get sucked in towards the ADX, the negative price line, which is what we want to see happening. But of course, we're still hugely divergent between the two here. And the story is similar again. If we look down the time frames, you can see it sort of advancing towards a better picture. Like, you know, this is the next step here. We've been sucked right in towards it, crossed over here. This would be the next step along here where that happened in the past. And now the two lines are really starting to converge, and the previous trend dropping off. Then you go down to the 1 hour time frame, and you can see this is what we're actually wanting to see happen on a daily time frame. Of course, we want to see this happen with the ADX above 20, or to at least for the ADX to move back above 20 whilst these things cross over. But you want to see the blue crossing over the orange, and for that to happen, well, the ADX, the red line, is moving back up above 20. But this sort of a picture overall would be good to see on a daily time frame. You know, so over the next few days or whatever, that's what we'll keep our eye out for in terms of that trend indicator. And that's kind of more or less sums up. I mean, I could go down to the lower time frames. I could show you, like I did on BitMEX, Bitcoin, how if we were to draw a triangle in here, you know, you could say that we're consolidating here. We could get a solid move in, which would be around about $90 move or so. And then you could have that happen to either the upside or the downside, of course. And we could be looking in here and saying that the prices could go as low as $60 or $50 or something like that if they were to drop down even further, which of course would be historical lows here for Ethereum. We're looking to the left. This is obviously the daily. It'd be much quicker on the weekly chart. Here, just looking at BitMEX, we'd be talking about going down lower than really the price has ever been on BitMEX. So you know that would be historical. But we could actually see this something like that happen should this break again to the downside. If we were to go to the upside, then we'd be looking at coming up towards these targets like we already have in place from the Fibonacci sequence around 165, 185, and then of course for the full move back up towards $219, which, you know, I wouldn't put it past this asset to act so crazily over the next coming week or two. I think we've all got a bit of experience as to how this can be the case. Now, incidentally, as you look towards the ADX down here, the DMI down here on the weekly time frame, you can see that the things have just kind of turned around very much to the negative. And we've had this big spike up here of the negative line over when the ADX is above 20 and crossing over the positive line. So that's quite bad in a sense, but let's just see how it pans out. We could also look back in time and see how, you know, like for instance, this is similar looking to when this crossed towards the upside, and things were positive around before this trend to the upside here. So we'll keep an eye out over the coming days and weeks how this sort of pans out. Thanks so much for joining me. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. If you're new to the family, then welcome very much, and share this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it as well. Thanks so much for joining me. No more scary thumbnails. I'm not doing any scary thumbnails, and I'll see you in the next video.